So, drugs, sex, death on billionaires' mega yachts. Okay, it's from a series on Vice called Informer. So, in my research, I came across Everbank and groups of Mormons that traffic fundamentalist children in the Oregon coast. Okay, so essentially what I found down there was super yacht kind of people and FBI seized super yacht. And that essentially down over here in the Oregon coast is like leasty or something, and that they use like smaller yachts and fishing boats for essentially what I found is they referred to it as Poseidon or Neptune, and they would be gods over your dumb Mormon club. Okay, Mormons? So essentially, it's similar to some of the Epstein kind of stuff. Those yachts get used for that type of stuff. The Asian kids and the Mexican kids get transferred. Essentially, they come in through Medford. They make their way over to Coos Bay, and then either a yacht or a fishing boat takes them up to El Waco. And so essentially down in the Virgin Islands, basically, they essentially have other people have, Epstein had his big island, but other people like to do a similar idea. And so that is where during these hurricanes like Dominican Republic and island kids go missing, and that is where they essentially some of those kids get snagged up. They get brought basically directly, like when the hurricanes start, a whole fleet of these rich people in their yachts, they get, well, in my research, the ones were coming directly up to Jacksonville, and were essentially, they would pull up basically in the middle of the night right up to essentially what is like downtown Jacksonville is right next to the water, and you can pull your boat up and go to the restaurants and stuff, and that's essentially right there is where then somebody takes the child and then drives the child up to Savannah. And that in ways, if they have one of these little psycho like pedo bang kind of stuff, this is where in my research in some of the archival video that's on dark webs and shit, these people were basically raping the kid on their boat, on their super yacht, and then they would get like a big hook, and while the kid was still alive, they would essentially put the kid out, and then they would start drunkenly laughing about marlin fishing and shit, right? And that's called Poseidon or Neptune. Those people then become in charge of what's called a Mormon club that's filled with a bunch of psychotic, like child trafficking Mormons that are in the LDS church. You see that one of the things that makes me different is that basically Mormon knows that I know this stuff, and that then they want me to like be afraid of a bunch of stupid pedo bangers in the United States, and I won't be. I won't be. This person more than likely has this mask on, more than likely would have a black male, and that probably a pretty extensive one. The whole idea is that you can't necessarily get on those boats where people do that type of stuff without having some sort of Epstein style blackmailer insider kind of stuff. Okay. And so with that, here these anonymous people essentially are doing that in lots of ways, because essentially nowadays these rich people expect everybody to be speakered up also, and they expect them to be blackmailed, and that is where then with that comes the ability of murdering them a lot easier. Okay. And so The whole idea is that Mormon wanted me to do stuff like this about all my fucking research and shit. And that is because they sit there discussing, and I hear what they do. They access my profile,
So the
and
whole
they
world's eyes are
discuss
on
that
Ukraine.
shit.
But there's
And
another
I
hot
just,
story
I
today.
view them as the dumbest fucking people ever created, pretty much. Because I don't have anything to worry about. See, what's dumb is for Republicans to assume that that messing with a Republican industrial complex would be like too stupid to do. I could say the same thing about messing with the Democrat industrial complex. Also, and that says the richest people in the world are amongst all of you dumb pedo bangers. A lot of them are Democrats. And that a lot of these Republicans and Russian oligarch type of people that do Jeffrey Epstein conservative pedo bang. See, your guys' lies and insinuations of people that literally hate pedo bangers. And then you guys sit around being the psychological epitome of a dumb fucking pedo banger. In all fucking ways. Everything, your guys' weird entitlement on getting into people's lives and shit, all the shit that you people do. Forcing in fucking weird audios and expecting people to do what you fucking want based on just being a dumb pedo banger that doesn't seem to understand what being a stupid fucking slave is. You go and pedo bang, then you're a slave. And that's literally what it is. And so this is where Mormon tried to use their little hacking Mormon club to be keeping this type of information because a bunch of these retards, they do prairie to the mountain to the sea, and then they become part of the Mormon like club leadership, and then they do this sick fuck shit to children up here in the Northwest. So they also do it down in the South, around where Donald Trump lives, and up in Jacksonville, and all throughout the South. Right? So this is where basically, you guys just claim, they just say that's impossible. Why? Have you guys seen this stuff? So the reality is all you need to do to figure out who does the world's most fucked up Satanism is to figure out who gets away with it the best. Like little stupid senators and shit. Little stupid senators that don't think that they should be able to have to go to prison for accessing people's speakers illegally and then being a part of a huge group that then systematically tortures them into suicide, which is attempted murder. And see, little senators don't think that they should have to go to prison for that. Just like rich people that have super yachts don't think that they should have to go to prison for people dying, them just covering it up and that not being a big deal and shit. You see the psychological profile of the people that are in Mormon Club? So just remember, little Everbang here. The one little Achilles heel is that they do pedo Christ. They do pedo Christ. And then in the end, well, all that means is a bunch of clan grandpas that are richer than everybody in the South basically own them. And that they don't put up with Jeffrey Epstein's sick fuckness. That's their little Achilles heel in all this. It really is. This is where, in the South, I showed up and then I was like, huh, they're not allowed to do that shit. And then I know, see, when I do research, I do preliminary research, and I know that in the South, this weird sick fuck shit that happens up in my area isn't allowed. And that what that means is that anybody that gets caught doing that, there's essentially the richest, you won't ever know who they are. It won't be David. It won't. It'll just be the richest fucking. They'll be. It won't be off the books, but they'll just be the richest fucking people in the South. They'll probably be pseudo, slightly white supremacy, but the whole idea is that they don't allow this shit down there. And I knew that. And so when I got down there and I started seeing weird Mormon psycho Epstein stuff, with Mormon temples doing all the like logistics for trafficking children and shit like they do up here from Canada to Mexico and shit. They also were working on stuff from essentially like Quebec and stuff and the Cayman Island areas all the way up throughout the South to be doing this type of shit. And see, that's where up here, it's like either it's fundies trafficking children or the little heroin dealers. And see, down there, heroin dealers are filled in, and they don't do that. They all use Mormon Fundy system. So Mormon Fundy system is Mormon Club, okay? Warren Jeffs was leader of Fundy Club in the past. For being the most fundy, that's what you stupid ass rich guys do. That's your guys' shit. That's your guys' shit. Don't deny it. You people should not deny that shit because that fucking dumbass and everything about your guys' fucking cult is a fucking dumb pedo bang cult. You guys are the pompous, rich guys that just like to get away with everything all blatantly, just like every other dumbass fucking Donald Trumper and shit. Just like every one of them. None of you are any different. You all act the same. You all say the same stupid shit. And in the end, you guys jack off and then you guys show your pedo bang at everyone. That's what happens. So, just remember that some of your guys' theoretical cybersecurity fixes is literally shoving your pedo bangs and not caring about the cybersecurity. Because what that means is that there's no cybersecurity. And that's where all of you are just dumb, stupid pedo bangers that go around pissing off everybody with your pompous ass rich shit. And then nobody gives a fuck about any of you. And that is really what it is that I find. And so these people advise, they may not realize that that person still will have extra information. But see, that's the kind of stuff that whatever he would have done, he probably would have gone to some, at the very least, he would have probably watched a satanic ritual. Kind of like the people at the rainbow gatherings and shit like that. And so then when it operates around Satanism, that's the kind of stuff that gets like deleted in ways. And same with your guys' report on the luxury hotels or whatever. It's like they say orgies, but then they kind of leave out the extra stuff. And it's because like somebody like me, I have tons of hotel experience and stuff, but I would have to at the very least watch one of the satanic rituals with all the owners, and then more than likely there would be some either sex with an underage kid or touching of an underage kid just to get a job at one of those places. The Cayman Islands stuff, some of those hotels, some of those places are like the same. It's the Epstein insider world of luxury, super rich people stuff. That's what that shit is. So a lot of times what you're getting is the lesser stuff. And then everything else that they do operates in something that would extort them. And that's where they'll be. But see, more than likely what pushes those people is seeing some serious, sick, fuck shit. Right? From these fucking Kokomo fucking 50, 60-year-old guys. They like to smack their dicks together and then are psycho and drunk and don't even give a fuck about little kids and shit. And it probably would have made that guy fucking puke. Honestly. So that is where I know that this stuff exists, and I know that these super yachts are used in lots of ways for that stuff. And so that's the kind of thing that, like, in the end, Mitt Romney's Mormon world that's all conservative and shit, they're always blaming on the liberal people with super yachts. They always are. Always. That's always what they're claiming. That's always what they're saying. And that then in the end, you can pretty much understand that anything that like Mormon comes out of Mormon's mouth is usually fucking backwards. It's probably dumb pedo banger. Then they orchestrate this whole world of insinuation. And then they just constantly bombard people with all these other people. Huh, Poseidon?